Well, live speaking with Jim Tucker of AmericanFreePress.net. Jim, we had a conference in Switzerland this year where Bilderberg have probably received more exposure than I can care to remember. What are your experiences and thoughts on this year's conference and how it compares to past Bilderberg meetings?
It was a total failure for Bilderberg, which is wonderful. Every year it gets better. Every year for the last several years we've had more protesters out as the public became educated. And today we had a big throng. They got here late. Well, that was the weather. But in spite of getting here late, they left earlier than ever. They're just not having fun. And I like for them not have more. When they're not having fun, I'm having fun, and the rest of us are. It's just wonderful to see all these young people embarrassing them. And the media coverage they got, they prefer none at all. But when they get it, to see that most of the attention goes to the protesters, and quoting the protesters on what's wrong with Bilderberg, and that would be a long quote, and very little attention given to the great dignitaries themselves. That's got to hurt their punchy little egos real bad. Every day they pick up newspapers reading stories about Trump, protesters, what their opinions are, why they think they don't think they know Bilderberg's a bunch of bad boys. So it's just, here it gets better, and that's why they're going to fail. Ultimately, they will fail. I think they'll still try to have their meetings because they're so hyped up. But things were not fun, as you notice. The protesters ridiculing them, embarrassing them. That little walk outside to show how independent they are and how they're really nice guys. That too was a failure. The questions they got shouted at them could not answer. In many cases, they had to pretend they could not hear with a nod and a smile. So it's been a successful Trump year. Next year will be better. And after that, the next one will be better. They're going to lose.
Jim, what is your midterm intel told you about their plans to use the economic crisis for greater control? Is that also failing, or will they consolidate more power?
It's not failing as fast as I would like for it to fail, but there is new hope with a Congress of Tea Party kids who, not even when it's in politics, they still stick with their views. They say that we're going to change Medicare. Well, I'm an old Medicare boy now for the last many years. I'm 76, so it's been some years now. But they say it's got to be fixed, and it does have to be fixed, because Medicare was based upon the idea that you will not live to collect. You will pay into it for 30 years or so working years, to be deducted from your salary. And when you turn 65, which was the life expectancy in 1933 when they invented Medicare, or 30, when they invented it, the whole Social Security thing, of which Medicare is descendant. The theory was you'd collect your Medicare, not your Medicare, your Social Security pension. You'd start collecting at 65, and you die at 65. You paid into it all those years, and you cannot collect for just a few months until you decide to die. Now the life expectancy is 72 for men, I think it is. So they're having to pay 7 years instead of no years to the guy who paid into it all years. And they've always had these myths about Medicare, such, well, your employer pays half of it. You pay it all. Before that guy hires you, he considers the total cost of hiring you. And if altogether it's too much, you're not worth it, you don't get hired. So in that sense, you're really paying, you really are paying all of your Social Security, whether your employer sends a check every month or not. So the whole thing's been some deception, and we're going to have to accept that. Well, I think one proposal is 55 or older would be affected. The fair way to do it would be to say everybody who's 18 years old now, they'll pay into it until, say, they're 72 years old, the life expectancy, or maybe give them a couple of years to live and make it 70, so that when you paid into it all your life you get back was promised. And I once proposed that they change Medicare to allow people to make their own investments instead, which would be much better. And it was, well, some of these guys will not pay into it, then they get sick if I were going to do with it. Well, one thing they could do would simply say, you pay a minimum of your income into safe stocks, very conservative bonds and so forth, or we're going to start collecting Medicare Social Security taxes from you. Well, with that option, you'd be a lot better off financially with those kind of investments in the same amount of money than you would be on Social Security.
Jim, one more question. For at least 2 years, they've reported that they're worried about the future of the euro and the European Union. Was Switzerland a line in the sand that not only is that system not desired, but that it's not even welcome to be discussed, at least secretly, in this country and perhaps other countries around the world?
Yeah, I'm afraid they're going to lose the euro, which is, of course, very important to the Turkeys. Some countries are talking about getting out of the euro. They're afraid the euro will not survive. Switzerland is a great example of resistance. I was told today that 80% of the people in Switzerland are opposed to the euro. I mean, to the European Union. Do not want to be in it. That's a good, solid majority, 80%. And probably after this week, a few more have joined the majority. So the euro is definitely in trouble. It would be wonderful if it gets blown apart. And it very well might get blown apart.
Thank you, Jim. And now we're leaving beautiful, picturesque St. Moritz, Switzerland. We're loading up in the car and heading back to our respective places.
I'll take a quick